name is Monib, and I'm doing a project on how does walkability improve the community. Now, what do you imagine when I say walkability? Are you seeing some giant skyscrapers and sprawling metropolis? What if I told you you don't have to live in a city in order to enjoy a walkable area? Now, no matter how much you love your car, you can't deny the beauty of walkable areas. Let's compare Savannah, Georgia to Sugar Land, Texas, or Budapest, Hungary to Houston, Texas. Now, what makes a walkable city? Now, the first step to make a walkable city would be to eliminate single-use zoning. Single-use zoning is when an area can only be used for one purpose, like residential purposes or commercial uses. Now, instead, we should have mixed-use zoning, which means that an area or even a building could be used for both residential and commercial purposes. We also should eliminate minimum parking laws, which is when a building must have a certain amount of parking space to it. This spreads out the area way too much and makes it feel very uninviting. Walkability also helps our economy. Kids without a driver license have tripled from 8% in the late 70s to 23% in 2012. These kids would much prefer walkable areas than suburbs. Now, it's well known that gas prices are very expensive. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the average person spent $1,072 on motor gas in 2017, which is an increase of 11% from 2016. Now, walkability also helps the environment. When I say nature-friendly, what do you see? Are you seeing some big grassy hill with apple trees surrounding it? Carbon emission maps used to paint the same picture, but those maps were based on the not entirely true assumption that the best way to measure emissions was by acreage. But new studies have shown that the best way is actually by person. Those studies flipped the most emissions, showing that urban areas have the least amount and rural areas have the most emissions, the highest emissions. Now, walkability also helps our health. It's no secret that America is very unhealthy, but just how much? In a list measuring obesity, America marks 14 out of 200 countries. Now, let's compare this to a place like Europe, a place known for walking. According to the National Institute of Health, 47.6% of European adults are overweight or obese. The percentage for America is 69. Now, obesity isn't the only thing that kills people. Cars do too. In American history, cars have killed 3.2 million Americans, which is more than all of our wars combined. Now, many must be driving is inevitable, but many other countries have much less deaths than America. America in 2004 had 14.5 deaths per 100,000. Germany had 7.1, UK 5.3, and New York beat them all at 3.1. New York has saved more lives in traffic than it lost in 9/11. Many of us take pride in our cars, painting them or adding little baubles to our rearview mirror. But most of the time, we don't think of the fact that the next time we step into our car might be the last time we drive. Now, walkability also helps our mental health. While some of us love to drive, almost everyone hates commuting. A study in Miami showed that after 45 minutes of driving, people had higher blood pressure and were easily frustrated. Now, Stress Doesn't Pay, the commuting paradox, showed that other countries had significantly less commuting time than America did. America's average commute time is 48.8 minutes, while Denmark is 38.3, the UK 37.3, and Portugal has the lowest at 29.2. My street implements a lot of the techniques that I talked about. For example, it leads your eyes to the library, which which creates a sense of safety. A famous example of this is Czerny Street in Budapest. My street also has mixed-use zoning. For example, the bakery here has houses above, or apartments above it, which the baker and his family might live in, and possibly other people too. My street is pedestrian only, but this is not necessary to have a walkable area. Now, many critiques people have with walkability is that cities are unsafe. Well, yes, cities are much more violent than suburbs. Walkable towns aren't necessarily more violent. Plus, the suburbs have much more car deaths than neighborhoods. People also only think that in order to live in a walkable community, you must have an apartment. But you could definitely connect a neighborhood to a walkable town. Thank you for listening to my presentation. And this is the end.